catch on and see what you are doing, then it's more than likely that the others will soon follow as well. Which is why we must do what it is that we need to in order for this to work in our favor, Toro continues. And while we still have the time, we must hurry and go into one of the sacred rooms of spirit and time and proceed with the plan. For we must remain vigilant at all times, for our next move will be a very important one where we will finally enact our grand design. And with the Super Dragon Balls, we will shift reality into our favor by bending their power in order to maximize their potential in secrecy. For there are but a few problems that we must go and deal with first, so it's best to not waste any more time, Toro continues. And with the room that I have selected, finding our exact location will not be as easy even for those angels as one may think. Now let us move. Which in the meantime, and then venturing back over onto Earth and seeing as to how both Gohan and Piccolo were from there shown having to pay a visit to both Bulma and Dr. Hedo, was when Gohan then went on to respond, "Hey you guys, sorry to just drop in unannounced like this, but well, me and Piccolo came here because we have something very urgent that we would like your help on," with Piccolo responding, "And although we know that what we're about to tell you both may seem a bit crazy, but well, if we don't start to get down to the bottom of things right now, then this may turn out to be a much bigger problem than we thought," with Dr. Hedo having to chime in, "Hey, look, Bulma, it's Gohan and Piccolo, and it looks like they've had a pretty rough day on their hands as well," with Bulma responding, "Hey you guys, well what brings the two of you in here that would require our help, and what happened to you guys?" "Well, I'll go off on a limb and take a guess and say that they've been in a fight, right?" Dr. Hedo questions, with Piccolo having to respond, "Something like that, but here, we found ourselves engaging against some kind of a demon, and after finally getting rid of him, we found this here," Piccolo presents. "It's a piece of that creature's horn that was on its head, so is there any way that the two of you can tell us more about what exactly these things are by taking a blood sample of this here?" "Wait, do you mean to tell us that this thing here is what was actually on a demon's body?" Dr. Hedo went on to question. "How wacky. Well, for one, the blood certainly looks different." "Yeah, no kidding," Bulma chimes in. "And this thing looks really dense, almost like it was designed to withstand anything with the way it feels." "Oh, well, I'm not sure as to what we could find right away," Bulma continues, "but if you give us some time, I'm sure we could figure something out here," with Dr. Hedo chiming back in. "Well, from the looks of it, its blood doesn't appear to be acidic, but, well, depending on its genetic makeup, I'm sure that samples of its power, or at least what this thing is made of, could be found within its DNA coding, which, well, that itself will also take a bit of time to get down to the bottom of." "Well, whatever kind of information that we can go and get out of this thing," Bulma responds, "is probably something that's worth looking into, especially if it's got Piccolo and Gohan all worked up, so let's just go and see what we can find then, Dr. Hedo, and just hope for the best," with Dr. Hedo responding, "Well, we might as well go on ahead and scan this thing by using the bone density scanner over there, so let's go and give it a read." To which a few moments later, as Dr. Hedo had continued his research and having to look deeper into this horn, was when Dr. Hedo went on to respond, "Well, this is certainly fascinating. The readings on this thing are all over the place with what I'm getting here, Bulma." "Yeah, I can see that," Bulma responds. "This horn's molecular structure is unlike anything that I've ever encountered before," with Piccolo having to address Gohan by then responding, "Well, let's just hope that we were able to nail that thing into making sure that it never comes back again, because I have a very bad feeling about this, Gohan." "Yeah, no kidding," Gohan responds, "and with the way they're describing as to what they're seeing, I can only imagine as to what they're going to find in that thing, but I'm also very curious to know more about this myself as well," with Dr. Hedo having to chime back in. "There's a pattern of genetic complexity here that's absent in many of the species that we have in our data system, but what's even more interesting is that it looks as though whatever this creature was that Gohan and Piccolo were fighting against has some kind of paralyzing toxin within it," Dr. Hedo continues, "as I'm starting to believe that the nature of this creature, and perhaps others like it, isn't just a product of their environment, but a fundamental aspect of their genetic code, almost like an evolutionary marvel," with Bulma having to then question, "Interesting, so what are we looking at here then if these things are supposed to be so much more of an evolutionary marvel?" with Dr. Hedo responding, "Well, this could be a lot deeper than what we see on the surface, so it'll take a bit of time, but let's just see what else we can go and dig up first, because, well, the more information that we can gather, the better," to which all the while, and then going back into the demon realm, we only from that point then continue to bear witness to the battle involving Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku and his Shadow Demon, as Goku went on to rush on forward by then responding, "I have dealt with many doppelgangers in my life before, and so this isn't going to be any different than what I dealt with in my past before, so let's do this." The fool doesn't seem to understand that this is no ordinary doppelganger that he is dealing with, the demon scientist Sugami went on to chime in. "This is him, only a much darker and more twisted variant of who and what this Goku is at his very core, and soon he will come to find out that fighting these shadow demons isn't going to be as easy as he may assume for it to be." Now just imagine on how much more effective these would be for us, the Dark Master Bureau responds, "if we went and created more of these shadow demons by using the blood from the most powerful warriors in the multiverse. None of these mortals would even come close in standing a chance, let alone in reaching us if they tried. Actually, Lord Gira, that very plan has already been set into motion, for I have started the process of creating new shadow demons, with each of them mirroring different beings from across the multiverse," with Gira responding, very good news indeed, Sugami, for I wonder on just how far these mortals will try and go if it means fighting for the sake of protecting their precious little universe from what's coming. Yes, and so either way, they will all fail to stop us in the